Hello students, welcome to the class. Today we're going to learn one of the most significant rules of the English language, which is the subject-verb agreement. According to this rule, if the subject is singular, the verb must also be singular. On the other hand, if the subject is plural, the verb will be plural too. For example, in the sentence, she writes every day, the subject is she, which is singular. So here, the verb will also be singular. So the verb is writes. The next sentence is they write every day. Here, the subject is they, so it's plural. And according to this rule, the verb that is used here will also be plural. So the verb is write. Now let's get to know some of the rules of subject-verb agreement. The first rule is a subject will come before a phrase beginning with of. Let's read the example first. A bouquet of yellow roses lends color and fragrance to the room. Here, the phrase beginning with of is yellow roses, but this is not the subject. The subject is a bouquet because it precedes the phrase beginning with of. And as the subject, which is a bouquet, is singular, the verb will be singular too. So the verb here is lends. The second rule is two singular subjects connected by either or neither nor require a singular verb. Let's see the examples. The first example is, my aunt or my uncle is arriving by train today. Here, the two singular subjects, aunt and uncle, are connected by or. So according to this rule, the verb will be singular. So the verb that's used here is. Let's see the second example. Neither Rafi nor Ishan is available. Here, the two singular subjects are Rafi and Ishan, and these two are connected by neither nor. So the verb that is used here is going to be singular. The third rule is the verb in an either or neither nor sentence agrees to the noun or pronoun closest to it. Let's see the examples. The first example is, neither the plates nor the serving bowl goes on that shelf. Here, the two nouns that are used in this neither nor sentence is plates and serving bowl. However, the noun which is closest to the verb is serving bowl. As serving bowl is a singular subject or singular noun, we can say that the verb that is going to be used here will also be singular, as the verb will follow the noun that is closest to it. So the verb here is goes. Let's see the second example. Neither the serving bowl nor the plates go on that shelf. Here, the two nouns that are used are serving bowl and plates, just like the previous sentence. However, the noun that is closest to the verb is plates, which is a plural noun or a plural subject. So we can say that the verb that's going to be used in the sentence is going to be plural too. So the verb is go. Now I want you to do some exercises on the rules that you've just learned. All you have to do here is pick the right verb of these sentences. I've given you the options. You just have to select the right verb here. So pause the video and write the correct answers in your answer sheet. Now we're going to discuss the answers. The answer to the question number 1 is because here the two singular subjects are mother and father, and these two are connected by either or. So according to rule number 2, the verb here is going to be singular. So here the verb is. The answer to the question number 2 is was. According to rule number 1, the verb will follow the subject which precedes the phrase beginning with of. Here, the subject is a pack, and a pack is singular, so the verb will also be singular. The answer to the question number 3 is are, because here the noun which is closest to the verb is plural, as it's friends. So the verb here will also be plural. So the answer is are. The answer to the question number 4 is where, because here the noun closest to the verb is plural, so the verb will also be plural. The answer to the question number 5 is because here the subject which precedes the phrase beginning with of is singular. It's the furniture. So according to this, the verb will also be singular. So here the answer is. The answer to the question number 6 is because here Tina and Rohim are the two singular subjects which are connected by either or. So according to rule number 2, the verb here is going to be singular too.
Let's look at the fourth rule. It says some indefinite pronouns when used as subjects are always singular and take singular verb. Here some indefinite pronouns are another, anybody, anyone, anything, each, either, something, everybody, everyone, everything, nobody, neither, no one, nothing, somebody, someone, and many more. Let us look at some examples. The first example is everyone loves chocolate bars. Here, everyone is an indefinite pronoun and it is the subject of this sentence. And that is why the verb will be singular and the verb will be loves. Another example is each of the players needs to be present to start the game. Here, the subject is each and each is an indefinite pronoun. So, the subject is singular and the verb will be singular too. So the verb will be needs. Let us look at the fifth rule. Sometimes the subject is separated from the verb by such words as along with, together with, accompanied by, as well as, besides, not, etc. These words and phrases are not part of the subject. So, what you have to do? You have to ignore them and use a singular subject when the subject is singular and use a plural subject when the subject is plural. Let's look at some of the examples. So the first example is the politician along with the newsman is expected shortly. Here the subject is politician and it is singular. That is why the verb is singular as well. Now, next example is the newsman along with the politician are expected shortly. Here, you can see the subject has changed. Now, the subject is plural. So, the verb will be plural as well. So, the verb is are. Let's move forward to the sixth rule. It says, when sentences begin with here and there, the true subject follows the verb. What does it mean? Let's find out. For example, there are 4 hurdles to jump. Here, the subject will be 4 hurdles, which is plural, and that is why the verb will be plural as well. So, it will be are. Then, the next example is there is high hurdle to jump. Here, the true subject is high hurdle, which is singular. As the subject is singular, the verb will also be singular. So, the verb will be is. And another example is here are the keys of the locker room. Here, the subject is keys, which is plural. As the subject is plural, the verb will be plural as well. So, the verb will be are. Let's do another exercise based on rule number 4, 5 and 6. Like before, you have to choose the correct form of verb according to the subject. You need to choose between the two options that I have given you. You may pause the video and write answers, and I will discuss the answers shortly. Let us discuss the answers. The first one is no one in Dhaka bakeries know or knows how to make authentic Turkish baklavas. Here the answer will be knows. Why? Because according to the fourth rule, an indefinite pronoun takes a singular verb, and here no one is the subject and it is an indefinite pronoun. The second one is Saima together with her children is or are leaving to have dinner at a restaurant. Here the answer will be is leaving. Why? Because according to fifth rule, When the subject is separated from the verb by words like together with, you need to ignore the words and phrases that are not part of the subject. That is why the subject here is Saima, which is singular, and it is taking a singular verb, which is. The third one is neither of the girls have or has performed in the annual ceremony. Here again neither is an indefinite pronoun, so it will take a singular verb. That is why the answer will be has performed. Next question is there is or are a cupcake kept for you in the refrigerator. Here the answer will be is, because according to the sixth rule, when sentences begin with here and there, the true subject follows the verb. So here the true subject is a cupcake, which is singular. That is why the answer will be is. Next question is Maha's friends as well as Maha want or wants to arrange a get together. Here the answer will be want, because according to the fifth rule, the subject is separated from the verb by the word as well as, and you need to ignore the word and phrases that are not part of the subject, and that is why the true subject is Maha's friends, which is plural, so the verb will be plural as well. The last exercise or the last question is here lie or lies the bodies of the language martyrs. Here again the true subject is the bodies, which is following the verb. That is why as the subject is plural, the verb will be plural too. So the verb will be lie.
Now that you have completed these exercises, let's delve into our next grammar rule. We use a singular verb with distances, periods of time, sums of money, etc. when they are considered as a unit. For instance, when treating a distance or a period of time or sum of money as single entity, we use or we apply a singular verb. Look at these examples. 3 miles is too far to walk. Here, miles is treated as a single distance. Another example is 5 years is the maximum sentence for that offense. In this sentence, years is considered as a single period of time. Moving on to our next rule. When using words that indicate portions such as a majority, some, or all, the verb agrees with the noun after the preposition of. If noun following the preposition of is singular, use a singular verb. If it is plural, use a plural verb. For example, a lot of the pie has disappeared. Here, pie is singular, so has is used. Another example is, a lot of the pies have disappeared. Conversely, pies is plural, so have is used. Finally, the word where replaces the word was in the sentences that express a wish or are contrary to fact. The subjunctive mood is indicated by where and is used to express hypothetical or imaginary situations. For instance, if Joe were here, you would be sorry. This sentence expresses an imaginary situation. Joe is not actually here. Now this question might come to your mind, shouldn't Joe be followed by was, not where, given that Joe is singular? But Joe is actually here, so we say where, not was. The sentence demonstrates the subjunctive mood which is used to express things that are hypothetical, wishful, imaginary, factually contradictory. The subjunctive mood pairs with singular subjects with what usually think of as plural verbs. For example, I wish it were Friday. Here, the speaker is expressing wishful thinking. It is not actually Friday. Now let's practice with some exercises. You can pause the video and write down your answers. Let's go over the correct answers for these exercises. Now I'm going to tell you the correct answers. $20 is all I have in my wallet. Here, $20 is considered as one entity. That's why we have used is. Half of the students are present today. The correct answer is the verb are because students is plural. Some of the cake has been eaten. Here, has is used because cake is singular. Some of the cookies were left untouched. In this sentence, were is used because cookies is plural. She wished she were a famous singer. At this moment, she is not a famous singer, but she is wishing for it. That's why the correct answer is were. If I were taller, I could reach the top shelf. Here, the correct answer is were, as the person is not tall and he is expressing a wish to be taller.
Now, moving towards our last exercise for this lesson is correcting errors from the passage. This passage contains many of the agreement problems that we have gone over in the previous parts of this video. Using all the rules from the previous parts, correct any verbs that do not agree with each other. You may again pause the video and do this exercise. Now, let's look at the answers. Let me read the text. Within the state of Arizona, Rob moves frequently. Why moves? Because according to the basic rule of subject-verb agreement, if the subject is singular, the verb must be singular. Or when the subject is plural, the verb must be plural. So here, Rob is a singular noun and it needs a singular verb. And that is why we have written moves. After his arrival, one of his first tasks is to find an apartment close to work. Why is? Because in rule number 4 we have learned that one is an indefinite pronoun. An indefinite pronoun is considered as singular, and as it is singular it will take a singular verb, and that is why we have written is. Usually there are many different places to choose from. Here we have written are because in rule number 6 we have learned that when a sentence is begin with here and there, the true subject follows the verb. So here the true subject is many different places, which is plural, and that is why the verb will be plural too, and it will be are. And he considers cost and location. Why considers? Because he is a singular pronoun and it will need a singular verb, and that is considers. He never rents an apartment on the 13th floor because he fears heights. It's the same reason that we have written considers. We should write fears because he is a singular pronoun. Everybody knows that it is important to find a responsible landlord. Why knows? Because again, in rule number 4, we have learned that everybody is an indefinite pronoun. An indefinite pronoun is singular and it will take a singular verb. So that is why we have written knows. Rob or his best friend loves to cook. Here in rule number 2, we have learned that two singular subjects connected by or, either or neither nor require a singular verb. Here Rob and his friend both are singular subjects. That is why it needs a singular verb, and that is loves. Whenever Rob finds a new apartment, all of his concerns disappear. So we have written finds because Rob is a singular noun again, so it will need a singular verb. And now why we have written disappear? Because here in rule number 8 we have learned that when we talk about portions, the verb follows the noun after the preposition of. So here the subject is concerns, which is plural, and that is why the verb will be plural too. That is why we have written disappear. He feels relieved and calls his mother. Here again he is a third person singular pronoun and it takes a singular verb. That is why we have written feels and calls. Lastly, his mother, not the family members, understands his worries. Here we have written understands because according to the rule number 5, we know that some words and phrases that are not part of the subject can separate the subject from the verb, and we can see the true subject here is his mother, and which is singular. As it is singular, the verb will be singular too, and that is why we have written understands.